Hey guys, it's Ty and welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be reviewing 3 books. They're all mysteries, but they have one thing in common, and that is the main character in each of these books is a maid, whether that's a housemaid, a hotel maid, some sort of maid. And so originally when I started reading these books, I was going to try and vlog the reading experience, but that didn't work out. So here we are. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to start the reviews with the book that I started with first. So we will go ahead and get started. So the first book that I started with is The Maid's Diary by Laura Ann White. And the story starts off on the night of October 31st. It's late into the night, and this elderly neighbor, she hears this woman's piercing scream, so she calls the police right away. The police come, there are some detectives that come. The main detective that we follow is Mallory. And so Mallory and her partner, they go and ask Beulah some questions. And Beulah tells them, yes, I did hear this woman scream. I saw the maid's car outside of the house, and I saw a man and a woman who appeared to be pregnant rushing from the house, and they were carrying a rug that may or may not have a body inside of it. And so the house that she was referring to is what they considered in the neighborhood to be the glass house, and it's a really nice house. So when the police and the detectives go over to the house and they start investigating like this crime scene, they notice it is horrific. There is like blood everywhere, but there is no body, and they cannot find the owners of this house, and they also cannot find the maid. And so in the present timeline, we are primarily following Mallory and her partner while they're trying to figure out whose body left all this blood, where are the owners of this house, and where is the maid. And so we also get some past chapters, and that comes from this couple, Daisy, who's pregnant, and her husband John, who's like this ex-Olympic star. And so we're getting the past like 2 weeks before this crime scene was discovered. We also get diary entries from this missing maid. And so through those diary entries, we learned something really interesting about the maid. And we learned that this maid has a snooping problem. And so every time she's assigned a new house to clean, she actually will allot herself time before she starts cleaning to snoop through these people's stuff. It has become such a big problem that she had to seek out therapy for it. And her therapist suggested that she start writing in a diary to prevent herself from snooping. That all plays a part in the overall story. But like I said, we are primarily following Mallory, the detective, as she's trying to figure out what happened. And we get those flashback chapters, and then interspersed in between all those chapters, we are getting the diary entries. I actually really had a fun time with this. It's really fast paced. I loved how the story was told between the past and the present and the events leading up to this crime scene. I actually enjoyed following the perspective of the detective. And I know a lot of people don't like stories where you get the POV from the detective, but I enjoyed it in this one because it's not like we're getting a whole bunch of information before the detective. We are figuring out all of this information the same time that the detective is. I really enjoyed the past chapters as well with the couple, because this couple is somewhat toxic and they are hiding some secrets from each other. And then throughout the story, I want to say about halfway through is when you slowly start to get some reveals, because the beginning is like the setup. We're just figuring out what was left behind at the crime scene, and then you're getting some background into this couple. But at the halfway point is when you really start to get the reveals, and then you start getting the twist, and I really enjoyed it, and this was such a surprise. I've seen maybe like 1 or 2 people talk about this book here on BookTube, and then I haven't heard anything else. And so when I saw it on my Kindle, I just decided on a whim to get it. And I'm happy that I did, because this was a pleasant surprise. I really enjoyed it, and I ended up rating this one 4 stars. So then the next one that I read is The Housemaid by Frida McFadden. I feel like this is a BookTube darling. I feel I am one of the last people to actually pick this up. I'm happy that I finally did, but if you know nothing about The Housemaid, this one follows our main character, Millie. She is kind of like down on her luck. She's living out of her car. She is trying to get a new job, and so she applies for a housemaid position with the Winchesters, so Nina and Andrew. And she doesn't really think that she's gonna get the job because she has some things that have happened in her past that has prevented her from getting a lot of good jobs. But to her surprise, Nina actually calls her and tells her that she would like for Millie to work for them. Millie is super excited. She has a job. She will no longer have to live in her car. And so it's almost like she's willing to do whatever to prevent herself from going back to how she was living before. So as a part of this job, Millie will actually get to live with this family. And so as soon as she gets there, she learns that her room is actually in the attic. And one of the strange things about that room is not only is it in the attic, but the lock that's on the door is on the outside. So somebody could lock her in, but she wouldn't be able to lock the door herself. So she thinks that's weird, but kind of overlooks it because, like I said, she's willing to do anything to have this job. And so we just watch as Millie is starting to kind of get comfortable with this family and doing the things, you know, a housemaid would do. Very quickly, she learns that Nina might not be that stable. And so as she is like working with this family, Nina appears to be making Millie's life a living hell. And Millie just cannot understand why. She's trying to figure out what is wrong with this wife because the wife is acting one way, but the husband is acting another way. And then the daughter, Cecilia, is a brat. And so she is having a tough time trying to work for this family. Eventually, she learns that there are some secrets between this husband and wife, and their secrets might somehow have to do with the secrets that she's hiding from them. I rated this one 5 stars. I ate this up. You can't really take anything too serious in it, but I just had a fun time reading it. It was very fast paced. So we have another fast paced mystery, and I enjoyed the characters. Like, I enjoyed Millie and learning about her backstory. I also thought the husband and wife that she was taking care of were very interesting as well, especially when their secrets start to come to light. I like how the second half of the story was told because then we got introduced to another POV. I think I read this book maybe in like two or three sittings. Once I started it, I did not want to put it down. I do think the second half of this book was a lot stronger only because you really started to get a lot of those reveals, especially like I said, when that other POV was introduced. But the whole book was just fun. I cannot wait to continue on with the series. I think the next one is called The Housemaid's Secret. I have it sitting over there on the shelf, but it's The Housemaid's Secret. And then the third book is actually going to be released in June. So I cannot wait to continue on with the series. So the last book that I have to talk about is The Mystery Guest by Nita Prose. This is book 2 in the Maid series. And so we're still following Molly the maid. So the main character from the first book, she's working at the same hotel. I think it's called like the Regency Grand, but now she is the head maid and she is currently training another maid, Lily. And so Lily is a maid in training. And so one day, this hotel, they are putting on this really big event. They have this reclusive author who now wants to make an announcement to his fans. And so right when he's on stage, he's at the podium, he is about to speak, he drops dead. And so everybody is in shock. He actually falls dead onto the new maid, Lily. The Detective Stark, the same detective from the first book, she is sent to the hotel to investigate this author's death. We get the present where Molly is trying to help the detective solve the mystery of what happened to this author, but we're also getting flashback chapters into Molly's past with her grandmother, and those past chapters kind of give some more insight into this author. I was not the biggest fan of The Maid. I thought it was fine. The thing that I really liked about The Maid was the main character Molly, which is the same thing that I really liked about this one. I think it was discovered like in that first book, she's neurodivergent. She takes everything so literal. I just really think that that's what makes her character. Every time someone talks to her or gives her a suggestion or asks her a question, she just takes everything so literal. And so I love just following Molly as a character. I loved the flashback chapters where we see her with her grand because she absolutely loved her grandmother. She put her grandmother on a pedestal, and it is very clear why, because her grandmother understood her and really took care of her. And so I loved seeing those flashback chapters and her interactions with her grandmother. However, I was not the biggest fan of the mystery. It was not a mystery that I was really engrossed in. I could have cared less about what happened to this author, and I was just more interested in Molly. If I'm reading a mystery, my main thing is I want to be invested in the mystery. Being able to love a character as a part of a mystery book, I think that's a bonus, but the reason why I'm here is because I want to enjoy the overall mystery, and unfortunately, I just did not. I believe other books are supposed to come out in this series. I'm not really sure whether I will continue on. I guess it would just all depend on what mystery we are following next. But yeah, overall, I enjoyed the character. I just did not enjoy the mystery, so I settled on 3 stars. So that is all that I have for you guys. Let me know down in the comments if you have read any of these and your thoughts, or if you have not read any of these and I have convinced you to do so, please let me know down below. But I will see you guys next time. Bye.